Hey everyone, welcome back to Silmarillion. Today we're dissecting The Substance, Coralie Fargett's brutal body horror starring Demi Moore as Elisabeth Sparkle, a fading aerobics TV star who cloned a younger, better version of herself named Sue, played by Margaret Qualley after getting fired. The film is grotesque, satirical, and unflinching. It's also been widely celebrated as a feminist masterpiece about the impossible beauty standard imposed on women. But here's the thing. That feminist reading, while containing some truth, actually limits the film's deeper power. It frames Elisabeth as a pure victim of patriarchal society, stripping her of agency and accountability for the choices that led to her downfall. Paradoxically, this victim-only lens undermines genuine female empowerment by suggesting women are helpless against cultural forces rather than capable of making different life decisions. Let's break it down. Coralie Fargett has repeatedly described her film as a feminist critique of how society objectifies and discards aging women. In interviews with Variety, The Guardian, and the Cannes Press, she highlights the male gaze, ageism in Hollywood, and the pressure to remain sexually desirable. The grotesque effects, the leering producer, expertly played by Dennis Quaid, all of it hammers home that women are judged harsher on appearances than men. Which is fair enough, those pressures are real to women. But insisting that this is primarily a feminist story narrows the film's scope and excuses Elisabeth's own role in her misery. Elisabeth isn't just a victim of society, she actively chose to build her entire identity around fame and her career. She's childless, friendless, and completely alone outside of her professional persona. When she's fired at the ripe old age of 50, her life collapses because she has nothing else. The Substance isn't just a metaphor for Botox or Ozempic. It's the ultimate expression of career idolatry, trying to cheat time to stay relevant in a job that defines her existence. Sue, the younger clone, isn't some external oppressor born from within. She's Elisabeth herself reborn, ambitious, ruthless, seductive, willing to step over anyone, including her original self, to climb higher. When Sue calls Elisabeth outdated and irrelevant, it's Elisabeth's internalized self-criticism speaking, the voice of a woman who spent decades prioritizing stardom over everything else, now confronting the emptiness of that choice. The film's true horror lies here. What happens when you stake your whole purpose on a career that inevitably phases you out? This isn't gender-specific. Men face the same void when the corner office or the starring lineup disappear. But by filtering everything through society hates aging women, the feminist reading absolves Elisabeth of responsibility. It implies that she had no real options, as if building a family, relationships, or interests outside of work were impossible for an ambitious woman. But that's not empowerment. That's portraying women as perpetual victims incapable of trade-offs or prioritization. A more honest, empowering reading acknowledges Elisabeth's agency. She chose to go all in on career, sidelining marriage, children, or deeper connections along the way. How she balanced ambition with family, not abandoned her dream, but made room for legacy through people rather than just fame. Being too old for her show wouldn't have felt like the end of her life. Children, a partner, a community, these are things that endure beyond any job. They provide meaning that no amount of professional validation can replace. Family isn't a cure-all, but it offers a buffer against the inevitable obsolescence of career peaks. This theme, that career success is hollow without family, is commonplace in films centered on men, precisely because male characters are rarely excused as pure victims of the system. Think of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way, in which a workaholic dad realizes too late that missing his kid's life for work deals leaves him empty-handed on Christmas. Adam Sandler in Click fast-forwards through family moments to advance his career, ending up rich, old, and alone. Nicolas Cage in The Family Man glimpses the alternate life in which he chose love and children over Wall Street glory, and finds that the former is far richer. Even classics like It's a Wonderful Life drive home that family and community outlast professional sacrifice. These stories hold men accountable. The Substance could do the same for Elisabeth, but the dominant feminist interpretation softens that edge, framing her tragedy as something done to her rather than a path she chose to walk herself. Ironically, a film hailed as feminist can be read as profoundly anti-feminist. The dominant view casts Elisabeth as a pure victim of patriarchal beauty standards and ageism, as if society alone forced her into despair. But the story shows that she deliberately built her entire life around career and fame, foregoing family, relationships, and any identity beyond stardom. When the industry discards her, she's left empty, not because she's lost her job, but because she chose to be nothing without it. By blaming her downfall almost entirely on a male-dominated system, the feminist reading removes Elisabeth's agency. It implies an ambitious woman has no real power to choose differently, to balance career with family or legacy, and is doomed regardless. This victim-only stance isn't empowerment, it's patronization. True feminism affirms women's freedom to make life-defining choices and holds them accountable for the outcomes, just as it does men. In shielding Elisabeth from responsibility, the substance's prevailing interpretation subtly diminishes female agency under the guise of solidarity. The Substance is a film that's visually disturbing and thematically rich, but reducing it to a one-note feminist screed against beauty standards sells it way short. The deeper, more universal warning is against worshipping career at the expense of family, regardless of gender. True empowerment comes from owning our choices, not pretending that we never had any. But what do you think? Does the feminist lens enhance or limit the film? Hit the comments, like if this take landed, and subscribe for more unfiltered breakdowns. See you next time.
Goodbye.